एक है हमें मार्क
Oh, there they are. The bison that I spotted earlier. Yeah, bison! Like that. And they look like orange.
Shana, Rayan, sit straight, but
And now it starts to jerk. Now it's gonna jerk. It's gonna jerk. It's gonna. Whoa, whoa! That's a jerk.
My name is Elizabeth, and I work for the Learning and Engagement Department here at Oakland Zoo. And I'm about to give a learning and engagement talk. California Condors today. So we see there's a keeper up there, and they are putting out things. And so when I talk about enrichment, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. Does anybody here have a job? I have a job. Yeah? All right, yeah, most people, adults, have jobs nowadays. And also, does anybody here raise children? Anybody? I see lots of kids, so somebody must be raising them, I hope. I hope you guys are. Anyhow, so those are some things that wild animals do. Also, does anybody here live in a home? Could be a house or apartment. Anything like that, a tent, some people, mobile home. Those are all examples of home or territories. So we all have our home or territory. All right. Does anybody go shopping? Does anybody have to get groceries? Yeah, most of us, unless you have a really, really nice garden and perhaps like some cattle in your backyard or milking goats, you know, we have to go to the grocery store as well. So in the wild, animals do these things too. They have jobs basically, which is being alive. And it takes a lot of work for a wild animal to maintain his health or their health. And they have to go about all those things. They have to have a territory or a home to live in and protect. They often have kids to raise, children to raise, so that's a very important job for them. And another very important part, food. They have to feed themselves, they have to feed their offspring. So all those things are jobs for animals. And when we have animals in a captive situation that they are being taken care of by humans, generally they have like a luxurious life because they don't have to go to work every day. Because we keepers or our docents and our other volunteers and interns are taking care of the animals' needs. So by doing that, we want to elicit all of those natural behaviors that they would normally be doing in the wild. You know, protecting territory, foraging for food. I mean, these guys eat carrion. They have very good eyesight, so they can fly at very high levels and search the ground. And you know, carrion doesn't move because it's already dead. And so they need to be able to spot those non-moving pieces of their diet, which are down on the ground. So they have excellent eyesight. Also, you can see they have a 9-foot wingspan, so they can spend a lot of time in the air without even using their wings if they find a nice thermal to use. All right, so ideas for enrichment for these types of birds. You can imagine, you all notice that vultures' heads are bald. That's pretty necessary because they stick their heads into dead carcasses. And you can imagine that's pretty foul. And so if vultures, that type of bird, had feathers on their heads, it would be a disgusting mess. You know, they'd then have to go and wash their heads every time. But I've never seen a vulture washing their heads. Anybody, have you? No, okay. Anyways, I have not, or any kind of bird, vulture type of animal, and these are vultures. And so always, if you see birds flying about, you could definitely tell if it's a turkey vulture or not, because they'll have the bald head, where all the other birds, raptors you might be seeing, will have feathers on their head. So one natural behavior for these types of animals would be to rip open a carcass. So, and a lot of birds of prey, their talons are their main tools. Their talons are incredibly strong. In fact, an owl can grip you so hard it's painful, and that's happened to me when I used to work with owls before. It is intensely so strong, because you think, if you grab your food with your hands or your feet, they have to be super, super strong, because that's how you live. So the vulture, in this case, the vultures, their animal's already dead. They don't have to chase it down. They don't have to fly at it. It's already dead. And they need to sometimes rip open that carcass. So you imagine, we've all probably seen cowhide. So you can imagine deer hide, cowhide, very, very thick, very hard to get through. And so their beaks are actually their most powerful tool that they use to rip open that thick layer of skin that the animals they like to feed on. So a lot of times the enrichment they will be given are things that will elicit that behavior, that things that they have to tear open. Maybe a cardboard box with meat in it, and then they might put that cardboard box in a paper bag, and then put that bag in the cardboard box in another one, because there are many layers of tissue that vultures need to get through to get at the good, yummy stuff that they want to eat off of that dead, rotting piece of meat. You can imagine, we do not have the same diet. We might eat the same things, but not at the same time. Anyhow, so they do have the largest wingspan of birds here in California. And they're called the California Condor, but they used to be found throughout the desert Southwest, ranging all the way up in the arid areas towards Oregon, towards Nevada, Arizona. But their numbers were decimated due to vultures, since they eat dead animals. I'm sorry, hopefully you can hear me a little better. Because they eat dead animals, and hunters usually kill animals with their guns and their bullets. Well, people use lead bullets, and sometimes the animals get away from the hunter. Like, they might have injured the animal, but then the animal will dash off still, and then maybe die later from the wound. And then a vulture could find that perfectly good, dead, rotting, sticking piece of meat on the ground, and they will eat it, but they bite off chunks. They just gulp down chunks of flesh, gristle, and bone, and they would be also ingesting the ammunition that was used. And so a lot of California condors in captivity, well, they all come from the very few that were left in the wild. San Diego Zoo and other organizations began to collect those, and they were almost, pushed to extinction. But through breeding programs in zoos and also rescue programs, as we do, we have our own condor facility for condors that are going to be re-released. So the condor people can bring us an injured bird, and we will rehab it. We will treat it for lead poisoning, because most often that's what happens when we get our condors in, are lead poisoned. And that requires a lot of care, like very, very, very massive amount of care to help that animal through this poisoning by the lead. So in California, hunters are not allowed to use any lead ammunition, and it would be really cool if the whole country would not use lead ammunition. Then we wouldn't have this problem. So also, one of our condors, and I can't tell them apart, which is okay, because some of their keepers can't either. So I could just tell you, that one's Fred, that's Sam, that's David, and that's Perry. So I think we have 4. That's all not male? Their names at all. All male? Yes, these are all males. If there was females in here, there would be large amounts of fighting when it was breeding season, because then the males will be competing for the females. So We have no females here. But one of our males here is a trainer. He trains juvenile males or juvenile condors that were born in captivity to learn how to be a wild condor, because he was a wild condor that was injured and brought to us. But he goes to the Chumash native lands, which are north of here, and he will, if they have a group of youngsters, they put him in with them, and he stays there for, I don't know the exact length of time, but when he's done teaching them, they can go out and be wild condors, because they are raised by their moms for a long period of time. And so just like some of our animals, like the mountain lions, can't not be released because they stay with their moms. Mountain lions stay with their moms for so long. They could be with their moms up to 2 years. And so they cannot be released because we don't have, you know, a mountain lion teacher to teach them for 2 years to be a wild mountain lion. So this is why they live in other accredited facilities or ours. So one of our condors, and oh no, not the 76th. One of our condors is that guy. He's a teacher for the young condors, and then he'll come back here. And we don't know the next time he needs to go back up to the tribal area of the Chumash. But many tribes in areas where the California Condor used to range are now trying to get involved, because that's part of Native people's heritage, because to them nature is like part of their family. So it's really important, and they are behind a lot of animal restoration projects in their tribal lands. So that's really good for animals and for them themselves. Now I'm going to look up some names. I will tell you, and I will tell you I don't know who they are, but they're interesting. All right, so we have Hinepa, and Hinepa was born at the Bird of Prey Center in Idaho in 2007. Then we have Kano. He was born 2009 at San Diego's Safari Park. And Petoquin, he is born 2014. He's one of our youngsters. Then we have 2 more. So we might have more than 4. How many was that? 5. One named Weiwei and one named Chopep. Something like that. It starts with an X. I'm not really good at pronouncing it. Anyhow, so the guy, if we could see their name tags, we'd be able to. All right. Yeah, and a lot of times, sometimes they're on the inner wing. All right, let me find out who that guy is. The guy who is the mentor, his number is 46. I was wrong. 46, 76, let's see. 54. All right, 76 is Weiwei. That was who was down here. And now this one, they've changed, because Weiwei is the youngster. You see how he has a black head? He won't reach, when he reaches maturity. So those 2 in the pool are the youngsters, and they might have gotten something in their pool, and it looks like they're eager beavers down there. But you can tell those 2 are juveniles because of their black head. Anyways, thank you all for hanging out with me and learning a bit about these birds, these awesome, amazing birds. We hope you guys have a great time. And I forgot to tell you that I do have trading cards for you for listening to me. So if you have questions or would like a trading card, come on up.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.